Support comes from Thomas Nelson Community College, the first choice to start a bachelor's degree. Tuition is 1/3 the cost for the first 2 years of college. From there, students can transfer to one of Virginia's 4-year schools. tncc.edu.
Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, partnering with donors from all walks of life to improve southeastern Virginia through grants, scholarships, and leadership initiatives. Learn more at hamptonroadscf.org.
Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. So how are you feeling now that COVID cases are on the rise again? Are you frustrated that we have to once again wear masks indoors? Are you bewildered by parents who insist on optional mask wearing in school? Have these latest developments changed your mind about getting vaccinated? Are you afraid we're headed for another COVID shutdown? We'll talk about this, plus the resignation of New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, and more on the violence affecting our teens. The Another View Roundtable is coming up. But first, this national, regional, and local news from NPR and WHRV News.
Discussing today's topics from an African-American perspective, this is Another View.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. Listen, the heat index is going up well over 100 today, so please drink lots of water, stay hydrated, check on your elderly neighbors, and check on your pets. And don't be out in the heat too long if you can avoid it. So the Another View Roundtable, it's a bit smaller this month, but no less powerful in their thoughts. And we've got a lot to talk about today. So let's meet our pundits. She's the keeper of the purse for the city of Norfolk City Treasurer Daun Hester. Hey, Daun, how you doing?
Hey, oh my, I'm doing okay. I gotta unmute myself.
Okay. You're fine. You're good. We can hear you. And she's an entrepreneur and clean comedian, Ms. Allison Moore. Hey, Allison, how you doing?
Hey, y'all. Hey.
So glad to see you, ladies. I know it's been, Lisa sat in for me last month, and you guys, I heard had a great conversation. And so Alvian and Carol are both taking some time off, but we do want to give a shout out to Ms. Dr. Alvian Lyons, who completed her second doctorate this summer. And so we are so very, very proud of her. So Alvian, if you're listening, you go, girl. We're very, very proud of you. So let's jump into this. Governor Ralph Northam says that schools should follow CDC guidelines regarding mask wearing, and that students and school personnel must wear masks while inside the school building. Now, he had some pretty stern words for school districts that may decide not to comply. Let's take a listen.
Local school divisions are taking the lead, including mask wearing and mitigation measures in their schools. We expect them to follow the law. And the law that was passed earlier this year says that schools will do two things this fall. They'll offer in-person instruction 5 days a week, and they will follow CDC mitigation strategies. The CDC guidance is that people in schools need to be wearing masks. That law was passed by a strong bipartisan vote of the legislature, and I expect school divisions to follow it. If they choose not to follow it, they should have a frank discussion with their legal counsel.
Now, we know that Virginia Beach the other day had their school board meeting, and it was quite active. It went until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm wondering, roundtable folks, were you surprised at the vitriol, the angry and rude gestures, and the name-calling that happened during that school board meeting as people were against wearing masks in school? Daun, let's start with you.
Why are we starting with me? Because no, I was not surprised. I'm not surprised. Misinformation is everywhere, including in Hampton Roads. That's why our numbers of vaccinated people are so low, and why our numbers are raising with this Delta variant.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I wasn't surprised. I was disappointed, though, because our children see our parents acting this way. And it's certainly not a way to, in an ugly way, to get your point across or to try to make a point, no matter which side you're on. But children do see it. Children do hear it because, one, there were some children in the room, and also because parents are talking and their children are hearing. And so it is, not only a challenge for the school board in making a decision, but it's also a challenge for our children that we are raising and how you present yourself when you want something to happen or don't want something to happen. So I'm not surprised that disinformation is out there. I was glad to see one of the local channels share the information about disinformation and factual information out there. But it's I really don't understand why it's so challenging to wear a mask and keep yourself safe and keep your family safe and keep your community safe.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a freedom issue. I see it as let's save all our lives, whether we like each other or not. Let's just save all our lives.
Allison, you've got school-age kids, so I'm wondering what was the conversation, or what is the conversation going on in your household, and how you feel about the whole idea of mandates, mask mandates.
I don't have an opinion about the mask mandates piece. I mean, I think it's smart. If that's their recommendation, I don't have any problem with following it, because we had a whole year and change or whatever of the kids being virtual. So it's, if you don't want your kid to wear a mask, stay virtual. And I have a rising senior and a rising junior. I got one social butterfly who she will wrap the whole blanket around her whole entire body so she can sit up in there with these kids. And then I have my senior who is, I just would prefer to stay home. I'm not comfortable. So, we've had as a parent, I've had the opportunity to be ready for either end. And then my youngest, there's some angst there. He's going to second grade, right? So it's different from a senior and a junior when they're talking about masks and they want to play. And those kids are just nasty anyway, ilk. So, there is angst there, but I appreciate this is the best way that we can try to make your baby safe, as well as be supportive, because a lot of these kids are at home, right? And they need to go to school. So I don't know. I just think it's like a darn if you do, darn if you don't. But what I had been very, interested in is how the headlines read the shout out last night, right? So, I'm looking at the news and I'm hearing that Virginia Beach in particular school board meeting that went all night, and they had shouting and yelling, and people was flipping the bird and cussing at the people, and they done called the ladies on the school board handmade. And this is what I'm reading from what was actually reported in the newspaper, right? They said they were handmaids doing their other bidding. They called them mean girls. They called them slave masters. And all of this, they done wreaked havoc at this event. But why didn't the news read that it was thugs that took over the school board? I'm trying to understand how come I have seen peaceful protests and they turned into thugs and wild child and tear gassing in 30 minutes. But we can have an all-night lock-in with the people yelling at the poor people. Y'all, look, I'm getting warm and excited. This is the irony, right? And so I'm just trying not to be bitter but really see, like, at what point is somebody going to say, maybe we do treat certain people differently when they express their frustration?
Well, you know what? Daun, go ahead. I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, that was a great point.
Yeah.
And it is so true. It is so true. But then I was thinking, that meeting was a super spreader because they didn't have their masks on.
That's right.
So that was a super spreader meeting. So I'm hoping that with contact tracing, because you should have to sign up before you speak, that people will be able to know who and what. Because in that meeting, we don't know what's going to come out of that.
Well, the fact that
I don't want any harm on anybody, but
right. The fact that children younger than 12 cannot get vaccinated right now. And if they're going back into an environment where they are around students, and public schools have a big challenge. I mean, trying to keep kids 3 feet apart is a problem because of the number of students and the way that classrooms are set up and so forth. And so trying to understand what it is and what parents are thinking when they are against wearing masks. Why wouldn't they want their children to be just as protected as everyone else? That's the issue for me that I don't understand. Allison.
I think that there's quite a few factors. Obviously, I don't want to generalize, this is speaking for all of anybody, but in just some of the small conversations that I paid attention to, I think that there's some things like control. Some people are livid that they feel like that their control and their ability to make a decision on behalf of their child has been taken away from them, which doesn't even have anything to do with the greater good and et cetera. But some people just don't want to be told what to do. Now, we can follow that trail all the way down to some entitlement or whatever, but that's really the reality. Some people got to sit with their pride. You just don't want somebody to tell you what to do because I'm saying it's like not rational. Some people are like, well, we're human beings. We're not supposed to walk around. We weren't made. We shouldn't have to wear masks on our face. That's not how God made us. But why you got on shoes, Becky? I don't understand it. You wear shoes, you wear a bra with them long boobs, but you got an issue with these masks. I don't think that's okay. It's just like y'all not really making sense, guys. Then I think that some people really, they want to, I've heard some people that they really feel like that the best way to get through this disease, through this pandemic is to, it's like some people are like, you got to catch the cold so you can be immune to the cold. Some people really got that in their head too, which is weird. But ultimately, you are not thinking about everybody else. And that's where we have to be honest and call people to the carpet. Even though I do understand how frustrated the kids are, how, there's almost now we're about to go into 2 years where there's some developmental delays. There's some socially developmental disadvantages that this pandemic is presenting to our kids. I'm looking at a kid of mine that just did not mature last year, right? Because they just sitting at home. And so I'm like, okay, I see how that has impacted us. However, I want to see these kids later in life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's just really interesting because I think everybody just need to go sit in their yard in the grass because this pandemic got everybody kind of pent up. But the leaders need to be honest and say, okay, we react to people's frustration differently. I think that's where I'm at with it. Mm-hmm. I know that these parents are frustrated. I'm frustrated too. But when is the leader going to say, we are handling people's frustrations differently? And if we start at the top, it's going to melt down because if you silence the voice of people who are irrational, then that will help spread a message to me. I don't know. Does that make sense?
So you're saying that everybody needs to be able to still express themselves, but at the same time, we've got to think about the greater good for the community in this instance because wearing the mask protects everybody. And if all of us are wearing a mask, the whole idea is to keep this very, very contagious variant of the COVID-19 virus from spreading. And right now it is spreading. We've got kids in hospital. We've got kids that are catching it. We've got breakthrough for people who are vaccinated. But the key with that is that the vaccine was never intended to keep you from getting COVID. What it's intended to do is to keep you from getting sick, super sick with COVID. And so people really need to understand and dying. I had a conversation the other day with some folks and we were talking about and this is going to really age me, okay? But I remember in elementary school when we stood in line for our little sugar cubes that was a vaccine. I can't remember which one it was for, but every child got the sugar cube, right, Daun? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then we also, and Barry is in the control room shaking his head, yes. And we also got the one that left the mark on your arm. It was a vaccine. I don't remember for which diseases or whatever, but I do remember that everybody did it and that it was considered as part of your education and there was no big deal around it. And someone in the room said, you know what the difference is? There was no internet. that people got their news from newspapers and four different broadcasts. You know, you had CBS, NBC, ABC, and PBS, and that was it. And that's where you got your information. And there was no internet where everybody has the freedom to get on and say whatever they want, however they want, and that information is fed to you based on these algorithms and so forth. What do you think? Do you think that has something to do with it, Dawn?
Well, we know that social media has a lot to do with it because the information that's on social media is not true. But if that's where you get your information, then you believe that. But the other thing is, all of the children of the parents who are opposed to the mask, their children have been vaccinated. Yeah. Because that's the only way you can go to school. Not vaccinated with the Delta variant, with the COVID vaccine, but just to go to school, you've got to have all those different types of vaccines already. So the difference in this one is it happens so fast, it's so deadly, and the media. And so what it shows me is how vulnerable people are to information and not taking the time to verify what they're saying are facts. And they're not.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Where do you come down on mask wearing, especially for kids as we go back into the school year? 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. And we're going to have a civil conversation about this. So when you call in, please keep your comments as in a very civil manner. We would appreciate that. So here's the deal. Let me run down the school systems really quickly. Norfolk is according to their website, they're following the CDC guidelines and masks are required. Portsmouth, same thing. According to their website, they're following the CDC guidelines, masks are required. Virginia Beach voted just the other day, yes, masks are required. Suffolk is undecided. Their school board meeting is tonight, so we'll find out what's going on with them. Newport News is undecided. School board meeting is on the 17th, which is next week, so they will find out there. In Chesapeake, masks are optional. In Hampton, masks are required. In Williamsburg, James City County, masks are required. In Elizabeth City, North Carolina, masks are required. In Dare County, North Carolina, masks will be a parental choice. So you can see going throughout our school divisions that there's a difference depending on where you live and how people are moving along. But even the colleges in this area are now saying inside you have to wear masks. That's Norfolk State, that's Christopher Newport, that's William and Mary, Old Dominion University. All of them are requiring that you wear masks. And let's go to Anita in Chesapeake. Hi, Anita. Your school district is not requiring masks. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. Taking my call. I have an 11-year-old going back to school. She will be wearing a mask regardless of what it is. However, to the people that choose not to take the vaccine, they're choosing to drown themselves. Because if you get COVID, you drown. You are drowning in your own fluids. That's the choice. You're drowning in your own fluids. If you go to the hospital, you are drowning. You're dying because you can't breathe. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Are your kids old enough to be vaccinated?
No, not quite.
Okay.
She's 11. She turned 12 until December, so she can't get the vaccine until December. But she has no problem wearing a mask. She went to school all year last year in Chesapeake, and she wore a mask. She loves it. She thinks it's a fashion statement.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And thank you, Anita, for the call. I appreciate that. Could parents make this more into a, as she said, a fashion statement or a fun thing to do? In other words, there's a way to present it. And when you see the arguing and the fighting, as you said, Dawn, when the students are watching this, I'm sure it's causing confusion for a lot of kids.
It is, and then they don't know what to say. They don't know what to say to their parents because, their parents have taken that certain position. but I'm sure that their children want to be in school with their friends as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, we didn't always do things quite the right way as we were growing up. I'm sure some of those children are going to have a mask in their backpack. So when they go to school, they're going to put a mask on because they're going to want to be, one, safe because they're hearing two sides of the story. But then they're also going to want to be like the other kids. And more kids are going to have on masks than not. And so it is a fashion statement. I mean, we even know that. We got 50 million masks, all different colors and shades and signs and all this. So, it is a symbol. I did hear yesterday, though, that it's better not to the paper mask, the N95 is the best one to wear. So I'm going to have to do a little bit better than that because all my others was a cloth. But the kids are going to, they're going to have masks in their bags.
You think they're going to carry it anyway?
And take care.
Yeah. Allison, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what children do.
Mm-hmm. Allison?
Yeah, I think that we're overthinking it. The kids don't even almost care as much. Maybe the teenagers, they have a lot more conversation about it, but the younger ones are just like, please, where is my juice? When can I go to school? I just want to play with kids. They're not as invested as we are. And as we move forward, they just gonna move forward. They just want to go back to school, or if they don't, right? It's us parents, and that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people just in their feelings because they feel like someone else is telling them what to do. But even when you had first posed that question about, like, what's the difference, I don't know if I agree that social media is the difference. I really think that social media just shows everybody what they were already thinking. But before social media, it was just 4 media outlets, right? Not necessarily 4, but, just a smaller number of, and who's going to say we're going to trust them? Because they've been feeding us lies for forever. I'm still unlearning what they taught me about Christopher Newport. So it was social media who led me down the path of saying, well, maybe all the information that was forced on me with these small number of media outlets might not be true, right? But I think that in this whole mask and parent situation, let your kids stay home. I understand if you're uncomfortable with it, I really get it. If your child feels restrained or claustrophobic or is triggering or whatever, I really get it. Let the baby stay home. We realize that we can do that. And then those who want to send their kids to school, let them come to school. But, Allison's issue is I want to see what happens when Suffolk Public Schools has their meeting tonight because their area is more black schools, right? If we can get real. And I want to see how Newport News handles it. And I want to know, are there going to be police officers at these school board meetings? Are they going to let them air their frustration till 1 o'clock in the morning? How are you going to handle these black parents and these Latino and our minority communities when they come and they advocate and they want to voice their opinions about how y'all handle their children? That's all I'm trying to with popcorn because, regardless of which way it's going to go, Allison about 5 feet, 100 pounds soaker west. I can't really do as much as I act like I can do, right? But I'm watching y'all. I want to see, and then I want to see who our allies are and who's going to say, okay, we're going to take responsibility for how our friends in different communities are being treated. I just think that in this drama is a lot of opportunity for some healing, some forward movement, for some community organization. We just using these babies, unfortunately, to be the sacrifices. But
well, and
I keep going back. I'm trying to take y'all back. We're trying to move forward. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all.
But to your point, and I want to bring up this other survey because not only are people fighting about not wearing masks, but there was a survey that was done by in June by the Mason-Dixon Polling and Strategy involving 800 registered Virginia voters, and 87% of the adults in Virginia who have not been vaccinated say they will not get the shot, period. So if we don't even get the adults to get vaccinated, how can we move forward to help our children?
I don't know where y'all be getting these numbers from. What you mean? You saying 87% of adults?
87%.
Ask me, and I'm Virginia's comedian, so.
I'm telling you that among adult Virginians who have not been vaccinated, okay, 87% say they don't plan to get one.
I don't think that's true because I just got my shot. like last week, and I was on there. I had one where
What
I
took you so
I just
long?
don't know about that.
Allison, what took you so long?
Because I don't like y'all people, and I realized that I don't like the people y'all had sugar cubes. I was trying to understand why some of y'all people was weird, but it's because it's sugar cubes. And now I know they was giving y'all sugar cubes when you was kids. That's why these parents don't want the babies to wear masks, because we see what happens with sugar cubes and weird stuff. I don't like it. What took me so long is I ain't want to get it.
Okay, you need you need to come on. You need to come on back and get real with us. You need to come back and get real with us, because I need you to help me understand.
Seriously.
Okay, yeah, this is Auntie Daun talking.
Which part? With the vaccine?
Yeah, why it took you so long to get vaccinated? Seriously, Allison. I really want to know, too, because I have another very close friend who refuses to get vaccinated. And I honestly don't understand it. And so I'm really trying hard to understand. Why did you wait so long?
I was just watching to see which one of y'all died first. Like, I just, came out too quick. So I didn't have that many. My job by trade, right, was I'm a live performer. So I was the first one that got shut off from the beginning. So I ain't had no work, and I didn't have to go out the house. Y'all stuck me in the house with me and my kids, so we was here. So then we started dropping out stuff with Johnson & Johnson. Every time I turn on the news, I'm having anxiety attacks. I don't know who's telling the truth, who not. Y'all told me don't listen to Instagram. You told me don't listen to CNN. And then y'all putting stuff in the arm. So I said, well, we're going to do me and my three. We're going to stay in the house and see who fall out first and start getting highs. And then once y'all made it 6 months and that whole nother variant, now we in pandemic B, and I'm trying to go back to work. So I said, I guess I got to get the shot. It ain't really that serious. Like, it wasn't really much overthinking. And, a lot of people are like, well, the millennials, like, nah, the people who had to go to work got those shots. The people who did not, waiting for everybody else to keel over and see what was going to happen as long as they could.
Wow. If you're just joining us, we're talking with the Another View Roundtable, Norfolk City Treasurer Daun Hester, and entrepreneur and clean comedian Allison Moore. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call to join our conversation. Let me get a call in here for a second. Robin joins us from Suffolk. Hi, Robin. You're on the air.
Hi, good afternoon. I love listening to your program. This is my first time calling in.
Thank you.
And I am one of the ones who I have no plans to get vaccinated. It's just my personal choice. I certainly don't have any problem wearing my mask. My children have all got vaccinated. My son is 18, and that was his choice. I did not influence him one way or the other. I never ask anybody, are you vaccinated? Because it's their personal choice. I really, really don't care. But as far as if I had school-age kids, and they had to go to school, I would certainly want to put a mask on them. And I think that we need to, I didn't know about all the uproar with the school board meeting. And it's sad that we as adults can't talk and try to understand both sides and come to some resolution. Like you said, we have children that's watching us, and we're acting childish,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Like
can I ask you, Robin?
Yeah.
I'm curious. You said your children are vaccinated. Have they tried to encourage you?
No, not at all. I have one daughter who's in grad school out in Arizona, and my son is 18, and my other daughter, she's here. She's getting ready to move back out, but she's 34. And, they chose to get vaccinated. I didn't try to stop them or influence them one way or the other. I just prayed over them that nothing would, that their immune system stay strong, that nothing happened with them, getting this, vaccine. But just for me personally, it's just my personal choice. It's my body. It's my right. I understand, that we're in this pandemic. I've lost loved ones to COVID. But like you said, I have no problem wearing my mask. I've been able to telework from home. I do go in the office maybe once or twice a week. But like I said, it's just my personal choice. And
well, it sounds like at least,
unfortunately,
I was going to say, it sounds like at least since you're not vaccinated, but it heartens me to hear that you're saying that you wear your mask and that you're being, considerate of others so that you don't spread it if you get it. You know what I mean?
Right. And as a matter of fact, I went this morning to get tested because I went to a funeral over the weekend on Sunday. And of course, everybody had their mask on. At least most people did. You had one or two people. But we were in there, like sardines in a can. And, I was invited to a baby shower on Saturday. And I chose to just go get tested before, I go to that baby shower.
Okay.
Because initially I wasn't going to go. I was just going to drop my gift off. And then I thought about it. And I said, well, Robin, you can go get yourself tested. And so I did that this morning and it came back negative, so I don't have a problem, like you said, because I knew I was around a lot of people. I didn't want to go to someone's home to an event and potentially, because like you said, you can be asymptomatic.
Right.
And I've actually had COVID. My son and I both got COVID in December, and we both recovered. I think his taste buds still might be a little off, but I recovered very quickly. Within about 3 days, I bounced back, started feeling 50% better. I never lost my appetite, never lost my taste buds. So, I've actually had COVID. And even with that, my choice is just not to get vaccinated. Like I said, I don't bother anybody. If you want to get vaccinated, you do you. If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine too.
Gotcha.
But like you said, can we just be cautious and be mindful? I don't have a problem when I do go into work. At our desk, we don't have to wear a mask. But if we have to get up, go to the bathroom, go to the copier, walk around, then we have to put our mask on.
Okay. Thanks so much for the call, Robin. We really appreciate that. Allison, go ahead. I see you want to respond.
Yeah, I agree because I think it's intrusive. Like people are way too over, especially the people who receive the vaccine. I've been so irritated by people who receive vaccine and how entitled and privileged you feel like about asking somebody else did they get the vaccine. I'm confused because if you got the vaccine and you ain't getting sick, why are you so worried about me? It's so confusing. And then there is, to me, just this very push-off, diminishing type of, it's as if I'm a less than contributor to society because I don't want to get this vaccine. That does not stop me from getting it. It just stops only me, from getting sick. That's really weird to me, how invested people are. It's like, first of all, it's a HIPAA violation. Why are you asking me if I got a shot? It's none of your business.
Well,
second of all, leave me alone.
But let me clear up a couple things because I want to make sure that people are really on the same page about what the science is saying about this. So you get vaccinated. First of all, it's you're less likely, even though there are breakthrough cases, you're still less likely to contract COVID. So that's the first thing. Secondly, even if you do get it, then you're less likely to die from it and get completely sick or very sick or have to go on a ventilator or whatever. And thirdly, if everybody wears their mask, then there's less opportunity of spreading it across the board. And so if you're vaccinated, it's a way to help you to keep yourself, your children, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, everybody else safe. And that's the big key. Daun, you want to jump in there?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to say I want people to get vaccinated because I don't want to forever have to wear a mask and be fearful of my surroundings. I want to be able to go out and enjoy an evening in the park, or I don't even go to the movies, but, to be in a restaurant and eat and not be concerned that the people near me have it and it can spread in this space. So that's why I want people to get vaccinated, because I don't want to forever be a world where we have to wear masks. I do understand the hesitation of getting the vaccine because I was hesitant, but I got mine, and I can't force you, don't want to force you, but I don't want to forever have to wear a mask.
Good point.
We are in variant number 2, and we're moving to variant number 3, which is worse than variant number 2.
But so does
we
this
know
shot
how many people
help
died
variant 2?
Yes, the shot does protect against the Delta virus. And
it does.
and the more you allow the disease to continue to mutate, the more variants you're going to get, the deeper they're going to be, and the worse they're going to be. And so you want to try to stop that. Let's talk to Desmond in Yorktown. Hi, Desmond. You're on the air.
Hey, ladies. How are you today?
Okay. How are you? Can you turn your radio down for us, please?
Oh, my radio's down.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say one thing. I'm vaccinated. I just want to make that clear. But
Okay.
I'm a person that says that, hey, if this nation is touting itself as being free, mandating masks and mandating all this stuff don't sound like freedom to me. And number two, you got to ask yourself this one question. With this world as globalized as it is, and the rest of the world, as some of these countries are at 1% and they come into this country, that variant, I just heard you talk about the variant.
Mhm.
Those variants are going to keep continuing to mutate, even if we all in this United States of America get those vaccines, because the rest of the world is not doesn't have those vaccines like we have them in this country. So we're speaking from a place of privilege when we talk about that kind of stuff. And number three, those parents. Oh, wait a minute. One more thing. People are like 90. I think it's like 98% of people who get COVID, 98 point something. I think it's almost 99. Get COVID and recover from it. I like those risks. I like those odds. Those odds that's very, very good odds to me. But keep in mind, I got that shot. So I can understand how those people coming up with the concept of risk versus reward. So that's all I got to say about it.
Okay. Thank you so much for the call, Desmond. I appreciate that. Allison, I see you smiling.
Because Desmond funny, he started with leading. First of all, I just want to let you know, giving honor and glory to the Lord, who's the head of my life, and I got the vaccine. That's how it feels. But I understand. To me, there's so much back and forth, and there was so much confusion. I don't understand why people seem to be so confused with the people who are hesitant to get the vaccine. That's just weird to me. You say if you get the vaccine, no, it's not going to keep you from getting it, but it's less likely. But I know in the beginning they said it wasn't, but maybe now yes, and maybe then you get mad at the people who got it. That's just weird to me. It's hey, encourage people to get the vaccine if that's what you believe in. Let them get it. Let them not get it. But we still have on masks, and you got the vaccine, and you are being saved. Why do we get so mad with people who didn't get it? But I understand now from this conversation because it's not helping to stop the disease. So, this is enlightening, but it's very interesting.
So
Right.
we want to keep in mind also that 1 in 4 African Americans are vaccinated, and we get the brunt. We are getting the brunt of the people who are sick and who have died from COVID. It hits our community really hard. And so we're trying to find ways to keep us alive. I mean, that was Dawn's point.
If we could get 100, that's why I got it, really, is because I know that I'm out here working the streets in Virginia. I'm here with older people. I'm in these communities helping to feed people. I'm with people who don't even have access to it. But I feel away. I'm a whole mom. My son can't get it, but I need to get it. It's just weird, But I like the brother just called and said, I got the vaccine, so I come in peace. But I am very empathetic to people who have not gotten it. I really understand.
Dawn, go ahead, and then we'll take another call.
Okay, I just wanted to say I do. I appreciate him calling and sharing that perspective, and it is true that we have people across the world who do not have the means to get it, and we need to get it to as many people across the world as we can. But because we have so many Americans have died, and I'm just going to focus on the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
so many Americans, how many millions of people have died from
More
this?
than 600,000.
Right, and that's in the first variant.
Mm-hmm.
Now our babies are being impacted. When you have pediatric units, but the IC units are filled, that is unheard of in modern times, which I'm talking about 2021, to have that many babies in an ICU. So this thing is changing. I didn't like it when it was killing us. I don't like it that it's hurting us and harming our children. And so I, as Daun, feel that it is my responsibility to try to protect as many as I can. Not only protect myself, but protect my team, my family, and everybody else. And that's how I see it as my responsibility. And then the last thing I'm going to say before we get to that caller is I think that when the variant first hit, if it had been communicated in a different way, we would not be having these conversations.
Yeah.
So I do need to go back to that because if you look at it historically, even as people of color, yes, we're hesitant of doctors and medicines and all of that. But when the polio came out and we stood in line to get that polio shot.
That's right.
And the polio, you don't hear about it. This is the same type of thing, but it's just a different time.
Okay, let's talk to James in Chesapeake. Hi, James. You're on the air.
Yes, thanks for taking my call. Yes, I'm following the lead of what the lady just said on the panel. I'm very concerned about our babies. And I know people on that panel have grandbabies, great-grandbabies. They're not protected.
Right.
And I just can't believe that these people want to fuss and fight over a mask and a shot. And I'm just like everybody else. I don't trust my government, but I believed them for 15 seconds and got that shot and moved on, try to keep this thing from mutating. But it just flatters me that, not flatter, but it just kills me that you got people out here that they ain't even thinking about their grandbabies and the children that they're not protected. And I just don't understand.
James, thank you so much for the call. I tell you, my 11-year-old granddaughter Patience is visiting with us right now, and it really concerns me. I've been very careful about when I go out, where we're going. We're masked because she can't get the shot yet. And I can't wait. She turns 12 on October the 4th. And her mother said her first present is the shot because, we want her to be safe and to be protected. Dawn, I know you feel the same way about the children. Well, and both of you do.
Yes, I do. Yeah, me too. Yeah, all my grandkids are vaccinated. All my whole family is vaccinated, except for 2. And, I'm tired of talking to them. But I keep talking to them because they are parents of little ones. So I'm like, we don't want to be taking care of your kids.
Yeah.
And they out in the public. So, I want them to be safe. I love them and all that. But I don't understand. But I try. I don't judge because that's not my place. But I want to always communicate to try to help in making a decision. Yes, it is scary. It's scary to put something in your body. Because I told y'all a long time ago, I didn't get the flu shot. I wear my mask now. I'm still not going to say I'm going to get the flu shot.
Well, I actually got the flu shot this time.
You did?
Yes,
okay.
because I didn't want it. I wanted all of it to be gone. But let me clarify something. Desmond and his numbers. According to Johns Hopkins, 97% of people who contract COVID recover. But that still translates into more than 3 million deaths. So that's a lot of people.
I knew the death number was higher in the millions.
Yeah, it's in the millions.
Died. Yeah,
more than 3 million deaths.
And that's great. And it's great that we do.
But why?
That means that we've had these doctors. People in the hospital. For whatever. Why would you want to go through it? Excuse me, I'm stopping. No,
not you. I'm trying to gesture to the control room to figure out what our next call is.
Oh, okay. Well, our hospitals were filled up. We wore our nurses and doctors out.
Yeah.
We wore our emergency teams out, running people back and forth with the ambulances. Our mental health as a country is a mess because the pressure of wanting to live, making decisions, trying to work remote, trying to serve your customers, we are up to here. And we're trying to operate in a space that we have not lived in ever before.
And in Texas and in Florida, the hospitals are right back to where they were, in terms of the number of people being hospitalized and so forth. And they've even started setting up field hospitals again. It's a scary time. Let's see. Are we going to Renee in Hampton? Hi, Renee. You're on the air.
Good afternoon. I am pleased to be here with you, and just wanted to ask one question. I've been listening with a lot of interest to all of what the panelists have said, as well as the callers. I just want to know what the panel thinks about how we are supposed to react to those individuals who are adamantly opposed to receiving the vaccine and wearing a mask. Do we still have the same opportunity to say that we will not be around them in those cases? And are they being forthcoming when they are going out in the public to places and not informing us that they have not been vaccinated, putting us at risk? So that's just my question. I wanted to know what the panelists' thoughts were. I do have friends, for whatever reason, who have indicated that they're not going to receive the vaccine, very adamant about it. And, it's almost like, well, mind your business about why not. And everything will come up from Tuskegee to the fact that they're just not, they don't feel comfortable with it or whatever, but they really still expect us to be around them. How are we to react as individuals?
Let me get them to respond. Thanks for the call, Renee. Allison is about to jump out of her chair. So let's go.
Renee, I need my inhaler, girl. You're making you trigger the sister. First of all, it ain't none of your business, number one. Unless you plan on taking care of these people that you're so concerned about. I think that there is conversation to be had. Dawn, she need to talk to her nieces and nephews because, like she said, she's going to be taking care of them kids if them parents are not here. But you walking around expecting somebody to be at Walmart with a sign on, I ain't got my vaccine, that's not okay. Now, I was called to the carpet. By an auntie. I got, my mother is no longer with us. She's having her birthday was yesterday, but her friends, she would have been 71. So my aunties and et cetera, they're 70 and plus. And there was a card party, and I came over to the card party. I had not gotten, and it was at somebody else's house. I didn't have my vaccine. I walked in the house, and so my aunt was like, "You got your shot?" And I'm like, "No," and she cussed my butt out. And she should have, because I came in her house, and I put them at risk. But outside of that, we don't have no responsibility to tell people, you need to tell me to be forthcoming that you didn't get the shot. If somebody walking around without a mask on, I got the shot and I'm still going to wear a mask. If someone is walking around a mask, put your mask on and get your shot and keep walking away. That's the part that gets really weird to me. And I think I kind of got caught up in the emotional of, like what Dawn said, people, they judge you and stuff. Like, how you going to tell me I owe you that I didn't go? When is the last time you bought me a car or gave me some gas or helped me to get my resources or going to be there for me if something happens? That's not right necessarily, but it's just some of the feelings that I know that people have. But I really I think you are way overstepping boundaries to expect that people just should tell you if they got the shot. And I'm talking outside of, your immediate circle, your friend, your family that you really care about. But that just sounds a little bit like you expect people to have a badge that's on.
Well, whatever happened, though, to caring about community? I mean,
where does that begin and end? I care about community. I'm still trying to fight racism. Where does that begin and end with the care about community piece? And how does this say, because I'm still trying to figure out if I even understand this disease, why is that suggesting that people don't care about community? That don't mean the same thing to me. There's a lot of misinformation that you all know. It started with the president of the United States. But we are being held more responsible to really understanding this weirdness than the leaders that passed it down. That's how it happens. The junk got passed down, people trying to figure out what the heck to do with it, but now we don't care about the community? That's weird to me. I don't understand. I think it's because y'all had them sugar squabs. That's it. That's what it is.
Dawn, would you please talk to her, Dawn? Uh-oh.
I just want to say, I'm sorry. To respond to the caller, in your circle of friends, we know when people need to be in our lives and when they don't. And so you have the ability to, even though you love and care for them, to say, well, then at this time in life, then we just can't be together.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, people come and go in your life. They're in your life for a season and a reason. And so now it's just time for them not to be there because you want to make sure that you're protecting your circle of family and friends. And, when I was talking about being out, I hear static. I don't know if that's you all hear it too, but I do hear some static.
Yeah, but that's okay. We can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay. That we need to, as individuals, no, you don't have to tell me whether or not you've had this shot unless you work for me.
Right.
And if you work for me, you still got to wear your mask around here. I mean, we do the same thing as everybody else to keep ourselves safe. But when I'm out in public, no, I'm not supposed to ask you whether or not you've been vaccinated if I don't know who you are or where you've been. That's not my right, I don't think. But as a community piece, I do expect and hope that people will wear their mask, whatever side they fall on this vaccination or not, because I want you to keep me safe too. I want you to be safe, keep me safe.
Yeah.
That's all I want. You ain't got to like me. You ain't got to know me. Just let's keep each other safe.
Oh, gosh, we are down to 3 minutes. I cannot believe how quickly this conversation has gone. Let me see if I can get one more call in. And thank you so much, Renee, for that call. Let's go to Deborah in Smithfield. Deborah, we only got a few minutes, so we got to be quick.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go right
Hello,
ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go right ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Clearly, there's a problem on her end. So we only have 2 minutes left. So let me move on to you two ladies. Each of you gets a minute to say whatever last words you want to say about mask wearing, about our schools, about getting the vaccine. What do you want to do to encourage people through this pandemic? And Allison, let's start with you.
I think you connect with someone who you trust that has good information if you're confused. I let my aunties and my elders in my community call me to the carpet. They gave me some understanding. You got babies to think about. This will help you not die if you get it. So that was valuable to me because they loved me. They were going to be there for me. Everybody else that's dealing with anxiety, tune into one of my things so you can start laughing and deal with some of your angst.
There you go. And tell them where to tune in. Tell them how to tune in, how to reach you. What's your website, Allison, real quick?
I know, that's people. BlackPleaseCoffee.com. Start there, BlackPleaseCoffee.com.
Okay, Daun, you got the last word.
I just want people to take care of themselves and just remember who you are. Keep your voice toned to a certain level because we are tight and tense. So just try to relax because it is hard right now. And we just got to treat each other with love and respect.
Absolutely. That's Allison Moore and Daun Hester, two of our roundtable members. Thank you, ladies, as always. And I look forward to seeing you guys in September. And thank you, audience, for hanging out with us for this hour. If you'd like to hear this show again or share it with a friend, you can find our podcast at anotherviewradio.org or anywhere that you find your podcasts. We're on Facebook and I'm on Twitter at Barbara Ham Lee. Next week on Another View, African American philanthropy. Find out the results of a new study by the Hampton Roads Community Foundation on how and why African Americans are generous with their dollars and what makes their philanthropy unique. Now listen, y'all, I've been doing this every week on this show, but nationwide, only 1 in 4 African Americans are vaccinated. So every week I'm going to encourage you to get your shot. It's the only way that we can get this pandemic under control. If you don't do it for yourself, then stop being selfish and do it for your family, do it for your loved ones and your neighbors. This time, can we please just come together as a community and help each other out? Let's get your shot. Our theme music is an original composition made especially for Another View by Jay Sennett. Lisa Godley is our show producer. Todd Washburn is our audio engineer, and Dr. Barry Graham answered our phones. Our intern is Lane Burgess. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Make it a fantastic weekend, and let's get together again next Thursday at noon for Another View.
Support comes from Thomas Nelson Community College, the first choice to start a career. At Thomas Nelson, gain skills to succeed in fields like cybersecurity and education through short-term training and 2-year degrees. More at tncc.edu/firstchoice.
Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, carrying out your charitable wishes forever, whether it's helping shelter animals, feeding the homeless, enhancing the arts, or supporting students. Learn more at leaveabequest.org.